but I was on his show a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, he has a best of. Did you ever see the best of Howard Stern? I don't want to promote it necessarily, but it was so successful. The big question is, did it make a difference? Would I have been president? You know, a lot of people say they created this guy from The Apprentice and they wanted to do a 5-year extension. I said, no, that's actually when I knew I was going to do it. And I mean, I love doing The Apprentice.
Melania Trump has mastered the art of the death stare, the swatted hand, and the frozen smile. But after Howard Stern exposed Trump's marriage secrets, she might be unleashing her most powerful weapon yet, the Slovenian silent treatment. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the 5 subtle revenge tactics Melania is reportedly using on Donald, how Trump's desperate damage control is backfiring spectacularly, and why insiders believe this might be the beginning of Melania's grand exit strategy. The former model knows timing is everything, and Stern just handed her the perfect opportunity. Hey, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. We know you want to. Go ahead, we'll wait. All right, appreciate it. Now back to the video. Remember when Trump couldn't stop bragging on Howard Stern's show? Well, those tapes just came back to bite him where it hurts. The Shock Jocks archives are like a time capsule of Trump's most unfiltered moments. And boy, are they embarrassing. For years, Donald strutted into Stern's studio thinking he was just one of the boys, spilling his guts about everything from his wife's body to his dating preferences. He had no idea these recordings would come back to haunt him decades later. Howard Stern's archives are basically a treasure chest of Trump's worst behavior. Between 1993 and 2015, the former president made a whopping 39 appearances on Stern's radio show. That's not just a few random guest spots. That's practically a part-time job. During these decades of appearances, Trump felt completely comfortable letting his guard down, saying things that would make even his most loyal supporters cringe.
Then he went woke.
Yeah.
And since he's gone woke, his ratings have gone down the tubes, and he sort of went anti-Trump for a couple of reasons. I was there for just about all of them, the best of. We had good shows, it was good, but he's changed, and you know, he doesn't do the ratings anymore. It was so successful. The big question is, did it make a difference? Would I have been president? You know, a lot of people say they created this guy from The Apprentice, like Howard. I was on Howard Stern's show as much as anybody, and he was great at that time. And
the most cringeworthy bits? Those would be when Trump couldn't stop objectifying women, including his own wife. In one particularly uncomfortable segment, Trump actually put Melania on the phone while discussing intimate details about their relationship. Can you imagine being Melania in that moment? Your husband bragging about your sex life to millions of listeners while you're awkwardly on the line? Talk about humiliating. But it gets worse. Trump regularly played along with Stern's rating system, scoring women's looks on a scale of 1 to 10 like they were Olympic gymnasts instead of actual human beings. He rated celebrities, models, and pretty much any woman who crossed his path. Nothing was off limits, not even comments about his own daughter Ivanka that made listeners squirm. In one infamous clip, Trump nodded along as Stern called Ivanka a piece of ass. What kind of father agrees with that description of his daughter? Trump's appearances weren't just offensive, they were wildly inconsistent with the image he tries to project now. While claiming to be a champion of traditional family values on the campaign trail, these tapes show him bragging about his conquests and reducing women to nothing more than their physical attributes. In one particularly telling moment, he boasted about walking into beauty pageant dressing rooms while contestants were changing because, as he put it, he owned the place.
But I was on his show a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, he has a best of. Did you ever see the best of Howard Stern? I don't want to promote it necessarily, but
So, you know, I'd say, well, Donald, I think Angelina Jolie is a great beauty. 7. It's models and a lot of these girls who work in the, anyone who works in the entertainment industry, really, I've only seen 6s and 7s.
they said it's not possible to win. Nobody's ever done that. I mean, and nobody ever gives up primetime show. It was a big hit.
The timing of these clips resurfacing couldn't be worse for Trump, just as he's trying to shore up support among conservative voters who care about family values. Here comes Howard Stern with receipts longer than a CVS receipt showing exactly how Trump really talks when he thinks only the boys are listening. Stern's decision to highlight these old clips now seems perfectly calculated to cause maximum damage. What's really got Melania fuming isn't just that these comments exist, it's how they reveal Trump's true attitudes. When he thought he was just having locker room talk with Stern, Trump revealed his real views about women, marriage, and fidelity. In one segment, he even discussed how getting his partners to sign prenuptial agreements was a horrible thing, but necessary because women go crazy when relationships end. Imagine how that makes Melania feel, knowing he sees women, including her, as potential gold diggers rather than equal partners. For Melania, these revelations aren't just embarrassing, they're a public reminder of how her husband views her. Trump once told Stern that he wouldn't stay with Melania if she was disfigured in an accident, saying, "How do the breasts look?" When asked about this hypothetical scenario, he added that if they looked good, he might stick around. What a prince. Is it any wonder Melania looks like she's sucking on a lemon whenever they're photographed together? Trump's campaign team is scrambling to contain the damage from these resurfaced tapes. His advisors reportedly suggested he issue a simple apology, something along the lines of, "Those were different times," or "I was playing a character for entertainment." But in classic Trump fashion, he's chosen the nuclear option instead, attacking Stern directly and creating an even bigger spectacle. The most damning part of all this? Trump can't claim these clips are fake news or taken out of context. These are his own words, in his own voice, laughing and joking as he degrades women, including his wife. Every time he tries to present himself as a champion of traditional values, these tapes expose the massive gap between his public persona and his private behavior. When those tapes of Trump bragging about women hit the airwaves again, our orange friend didn't exactly take the high road. Instead of apologizing to Melania for embarrassing her again, Trump decided that attacking Howard Stern was clearly the best solution to his problems. It's like watching someone try to put out a kitchen fire by throwing gasoline on it and then wondering why the whole house is suddenly in flames. At a recent rally, Trump transformed from Stern's longtime radio buddy into his fiercest critic overnight.
I had The Apprentice for 12 years,
Oh, I know.
14 seasons, but 12 years, a lot of time.
And he would get on, and no matter what I asked him, he would answer.
Yes.
In a very sincere and thought-out way. I'd say, Donald, and I'd always call him Mr. Trump. He loved.
They wanted to renew me for 5 years. They were all set to do it, and I didn't want to do it. I said I wanted to run for president.
If I ask you some names, can you tell me who the great beauties are? He goes, first of all, straight face. The great beauties, Howard, are not actresses.
Howard Stern is a weak man, a washed-up shock jock trying to get ratings, Trump bellowed to his supporters. He even claimed, "I made his career," which is a bold statement considering Stern was already radio royalty long before Trump became his regular guest. The crowd ate it up, of course, but media observers couldn't help noting the whiplash-inducing turn from decades of friendly chats to suddenly painting Stern as public enemy #1. Trump's meltdown didn't stop at rallies. His fingers got busy on Truth Social, where he tried to convince his followers that he and Stern were practically strangers. "I barely knew the guy," Trump posted, apparently forgetting that the internet has receipts of their decades-long friendship and numerous on-air conversations. It's like trying to convince people you've never eaten a hamburger while ketchup is still dripping down your chin. The desperation behind Trump's attacks is painfully obvious. Rather than addressing the actual content of those recordings, the stuff making Melania furious, he's trying to shoot the messenger. Classic Trump playbook. When caught saying something embarrassing, claim you never said it, then claim you barely know the person who heard you say it, then claim that person is a loser who nobody listens to anyway. What makes this whole situation even more delicious is that Trump's aggressive response has created what PR experts call the Streisand effect, named after Barbra Streisand's infamous attempt to suppress photos of her Malibu home, which resulted in millions more people seeing them. Trump's angry denials are only making more people curious about what exactly he said on Stern's show. Every time Trump tweets another attack, another media outlet digs deeper into the archives, finding more cringeworthy clips to share. According to sources close to the Trump household, Melania views his public meltdown as yet another humiliation. She's furious that instead of handling this privately, he's creating an even bigger spectacle, said one insider who requested anonymity. Every time he attacks Stern, it just brings more attention to those recordings, the very thing she wants everyone to forget.
And they wanted to do a 5-year extension. I said, no, that's actually when I knew I was going to do it. And I love doing The Apprentice. Mark Burnett, who's a great guy, and the producer and all of the people from NBC, everybody came up to see me to talk me out of running.
Like that. I'd say, Mr. Trump, tell me, who are the great beauties? To me, a guest who comes on and says anything that is in his mind is a great guest.
I don't know if that's true because they chose me because of the success.
The timing couldn't be worse for Trump. His campaign team reportedly begged him to downplay the situation rather than escalate it. Just say it was locker room talk from years ago and move on, one advisor suggested, according to campaign sources. But Trump, being Trump, can't stand the idea that someone has dirt on him, especially when that dirt consists entirely of his own words. Trump's claim that Stern went woke and is suffering declining ratings shows just how desperate he is to discredit his former friend. Rather than acknowledge his own embarrassing comments, Trump is trying to paint Stern as the bad guy, a strategy that's about as effective as using a sieve to bail water from a sinking boat. What's particularly ironic is that Trump's attacks on Stern are only amplifying the voice of someone who has an entire library of embarrassing Trump moments at his disposal. Every insult Trump hurls gives Stern another reason to dig through his archives and release more clips. It's like poking a bear that's sitting on a pile of your most embarrassing home videos. Not exactly a winning strategy. Media analysts are having a field day with Trump's self-defeating approach. He's creating a feedback loop of embarrassment, explained one communications expert. Attack Stern, more clips get released, which prompts more attacks, which prompts more clips. He's basically ensuring that these recordings stay in the news cycle far longer than they would have otherwise. While Trump continues his public tantrum against his former radio buddy, the real victim in all this, Melania, is reportedly taking notes. Sources close to the former First Lady say she's watching how Trump handles this situation very carefully, and his choice to throw gasoline on the fire rather than apologize to her speaks volumes about his priorities. While Trump is out there screaming at Howard Stern like a toddler who dropped his ice cream cone, Melania has been playing a much smarter game. The former First Lady isn't throwing tantrums on social media. She's executing what experts might call the silent treatment from hell. And folks, it appears to be working. Remember how your mom would give you that ice-cold shoulder when you really messed up? Well, Melania's taking that classic move and elevating it to an art form, since those embarrassing Stern tapes resurfaced. Eagle-eyed observers have spotted a significant shift in how she handles her husband in public. Those famous hand-swatting incidents? They've multiplied faster than Trump's legal problems. At multiple recent events, cameras have caught Melania flat out refusing to hold Donald's hand, leaving him awkwardly grabbing at air like he's trying to catch invisible butterflies. Nothing says you're in the doghouse quite like leaving your husband hanging in front of the entire world. But the cold shoulder treatment doesn't stop at public events. According to sources close to the couple, Melania has taken the ultimate step in marital warfare. She's reportedly moved to a completely separate bedroom in their Mar-a-Lago mansion. Staff members have apparently nicknamed it the Cold War Wing, which honestly sounds like the title of a political thriller nobody asked for. This physical separation marks a dramatic change from their previous attempts to at least pretend everything was fine between them. When you're sleeping in different parts of a building the size of a small country, that's not just trouble in paradise, that's trouble in the entire zip code. Even Melania's fashion choices have become weapons in her arsenal of silent revenge. Fashion experts have noted she's increasingly wearing outfits from designers who have publicly criticized Trump. It's what the fashion world calls sartorial shade. Using clothing as communication, every sequin and stitch is basically saying, I hear what you said about my husband, and honestly, same. For a woman who spent years being analyzed for her fashion choices, this is her way of sending a message without saying a single word. Her social media accounts tell another story, or rather, they don't tell any story at all about Trump. Despite his campaign team reportedly begging her to show public support online, Melania's feeds remain suspiciously Trump-free zones. In the digital age, where couples constantly overshare their supposedly perfect relationships, Melania's silence speaks volumes. It's the online equivalent of removing all the photos of your ex from your apartment, except the apartment is her public image, and the ex is technically still her husband. Awkward. Perhaps the most devastating revenge tactic in Melania's playbook is simply her absence. Reports suggest she's refusing to appear at campaign events, which leaves Trump without his trophy wife prop just when he needs her most. Every presidential candidate relies on their spouse to humanize them, to show voters they must have some redeeming qualities if someone decided to marry them. Without Melania by his side, Trump is missing a crucial piece of his political image. It's like showing up to a gunfight without your gun, or in Trump's case, showing up to a hair appointment without your mysterious orange dye. But the nuclear option might still be waiting in the wings. Sources suggest Melania's team is quietly working on a tell-all book deal that would only activate if Trump crosses certain unspecified lines. It's essentially an insurance policy, or as political insiders might call it, mutually assured destruction. The mere existence of this potential book reportedly has Donald terrified, and for good reason. After all, nobody knows where all the bodies are buried quite like your spouse. Metaphorically speaking, of course. The genius of Melania's approach is its plausible deniability. While Trump publicly melts down with each passing day, she maintains her composure and dignity, at least outwardly. She doesn't need to call press conferences or post angry rants online. Her weapon of choice is her absence, which creates a void that speaks louder than any words could. It's revenge served at absolute zero, and it appears to be working. The secret weapon that Stern accidentally gave Melania might just be the ace up her designer sleeve. While Donald keeps ranting about fake news and woke radio hosts, Melania's got the one thing that truly scares him: the power to walk away. As that former White House insider revealed, Donald fears two things: losing money and losing Melania. Stern just made the second one a real possibility. The Orange Man child who built his brand on being untouchable now finds himself vulnerable where it hurts most: his trophy marriage. The real question hanging over Trump Tower isn't whether Melania will get her revenge. It's how much of the Slovenian Ice Queen's payback we'll witness before Election Day.